CHILLKID, I really hope to one day in the not too distant future be commissioning you for scoring a video game.
Oh, I would love to.
I still want to find a way to convert that into a game. If I do, you will be hearing from me.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, I still have a lot to learn. After I did my first one, I actually started looking up different people who did the soundtracks to the games that I really enjoyed the music, and just it's a very it's a very cool world to get into it, but it's really complicated how they do their production.
Yeah, I mean, because some things they'd have to like time up with certain scenes and then have it loop in others, and I would imagine it's got to be mind bending to keep it all straight.
Well, yeah, I mean,
programming meets art, meets science. It's all sorts of.
Well, what we ended up doing on the game that I did the whole soundtrack for was we made it to where they went to 9 different planets for the levels, right? So each planet had the base theme, and then had the kind of the theme that plays while you're just getting resources together and building stuff. Mm-hmm. And then there was like the warning theme that plays to let you know prepare for battle. And then there was the combat music. And then I had to make the menu music that had 3 parts to it. So as you got further into selecting your stuff, the music changed. So that one was fun. And then I made the menu music, the base for the boss battle music for the final showdown. So and what happened is they made sure that the music plays, like all the tracks are playing simultaneously in each level. All 3 tracks are playing at the same time, right? Mm-hmm. And but the ones there, they kind of crossfade them in depending on what's going on. So that was a lot of fun to put that together and make sure that every part of the song could loop into the other part seamlessly and still sound good. So that was a fun challenge.
That would be what you were dealing with on the space albums?
Yes. The final releases, some of those songs, I needed to do a lot of work to make them to where they don't just sound like 3 separate songs in one track. Oh, and then also, this was a fun idea I came up with that they had to figure out how to program it, is I also made an 8-bit version of the core tracks so that when you pause the game, it doesn't go silent, because that's what it was in the prototype. And so I made an 8-bit version of it, and it loops into that too, and it sounds seamless as well.
So it's the regular version. When you hit pause, you're hearing the 8-bit version. It continues on just 8-bit, and then when you resume play, it goes back to normal.
Yep, because before it would just go silent when you would turn it off, or when you pause it. And I was like, guys, I think we could do something here, and they were able to figure it out. So it ended up really to be a fun thing.
Sweet. Let's see. I'm on your Space Disc 1.
Yeah.
And
there's a lot of
which do you suggest? Shall I fire one of these up?
Well, the one I've been listening to and geeking out about a lot. Well, there's 2 of them. There's Cheat Codes and Ignoring Protocol. Those ended up being some of my absolute favorites on the whole album.
All right.
I feel bad because I don't want to take over the whole stream. But
dude. Yeah. The stream is just us chatting about this stuff, so
we are happy to show.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? If you guys, how many writers do we have on the stream tonight?
1.
I know we
2,
got
3,
Wrangler, right?
4. We got 4.
Okay, so I want to pitch.
Readout. I don't know if you've done much right. He does a lot of preserving of.
I caught a couple of his life.
I write nonfiction.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess all of us are writers in some capacity.
Well, the reason I bring that up is because at one point I was trying to write a sci-fi, and I realized I was getting way in over my head because the kind of sci-fi that I like really has a lot of questions covered. I really like Michael Crichton, and he's very diligent. Asimov. Who else we got? The kind of writers that really research well.
Yeah.
And I realized that I just am in over my head with that story, even though it's a pretty simple premise. But I came up with a couple of stories that fit into kind of like a Skyrim kind of world. Hey, there we go, Jose. All right. But
Jose got quite the interesting story.
Does he?
CHILLKID, do you know Jose's story?
I am going to go and say I probably don't.
Jose, drop your synopsis while CHILLKID continues to speak. Go on, sir.
Oh, so yeah, I came up with 2 different characters for books that kind of fit into the same element, the same what do you call it? Extended universe. And what do you call it? Continuity. There we go. So the first one was actually a meme kind of idea I came up with at work when my phone wasn't working, so I couldn't listen to music. But I came up with this, like, the question of when you play Uncharted or Skyrim, or even like Legend of Zelda, when you go into a dungeon that supposedly is like sealed because you just opened it with the mystical key you had to go get or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. And all the candles are lit. You know, like all the candles and lamps in the whole place, everything's working, and someone went around and lit the candles before you got there. Like, it's ridiculous. So I was thinking, like, what kind of a character would need to do that? Mm-hmm. Why? And at first I was just kind of chuckling to myself, but after a little bit, I started to believe my own hype and go, wait a minute, this is actually an interesting character. So I came up with a person for why they would need to do that, and, you know, who pressed them into that service. And so making a story around a character that's kind of been tricked by a demon into having to light candles to keep the dungeon working for the adventurers, right? And he has to like wake up the Draugr. Yeah, I mean, like, awesome. First I was just thinking it was a stupid idea. The more I thought, I was like, man, that's actually kind of fun.
And all you gotta do is change the main character's name to Shilar, and you have a Shilar.
I have a Shilar.
And instead of lighting officially candles, he's questing for his balls.
Listen here.
But you ran into an issue, CHILLKID, that I deal with.
What's that?
Because remember, my book was originally intended to be a video game. And I had to look at game mechanics that would make sense if it was just a game on screen. But in a narrative setting, it makes zero sense whatsoever. I like to use the example of Castlevania. You break a brick in the wall, and there's a nice big pork chop, fresh cooked. Well, who put it there?
Dude,
the cook finished that up and go, this is so good, I'm going to brick it in the wall.
Now, the rest of you guys, I know you already know, but Wrangler, you don't have a pork chop brick in your basement? Doesn't everybody? You move it once a day.
I got some bacon ones.
I have my own personal pork chop stash.
Yeah,
but narratively, it makes no sense.
Every day, and you get one pork chop.
One pork chop. Hey! If I'm really splurging, maybe 2.
Listen, I have all my fresh green apples in a barrel in a flooded, basement.
And none of them are rotted. Nothing. This head of cabbage has been here for millennia, but it's waiting for me.
Oh, it's perfectly fermented. Good gut flora waiting to happen.
The immortal cabbage.
The immortal cabbage. I'm not sure I want to eat this. What's it going to do to my intestines?
It's going to grow good gut flora.
So once consumed, it never leaves you.
It's pre-fermented. You just get drunk forever.
You will never be the same.
The everlasting gobstopper of alcohol.
Yes.
Well, okay. So then that was the premise for that story, and then I came up with another one because I was interested in this short story I read a while ago about this kid who was. There was like a wizard with like moose antlers who like ended up kind of taking this kid as his like understudy, and I just thought that was an interesting idea. And it was kind of like an infamous evil character, but then he ended up, being a mentor to this kid. So I thought of a story of this kid who is a squire to a knight, and there's like an outlaw archer who's like infamous in the land, and that archer, they're going to hunt the guy down for the bounty, and that archer kills the knight so that the squire kind of takes up for his knight and then continues hunting this famous, archer that can basically do anything with his bow and arrow, right? And through the process of hunting him down in the woods, he's angry at him. He's just a wild kid who's trying to hunt this guy down with no experience. And the archer is calling to him through the woods and like mentoring him on how to be a better archer, how to hunt, how to track him down, and basically conferring all his knowledge to him. And by the time he finally hunts him down, the kid is ready to become that archer and take his place. And I thought of a way for that archer for the kid to have to come into the temple where this other character is tending to the lamps and waking the Draugr and stuff. And I've thought of a bunch of details for both stories, and I don't want to like just dump them all here. But if anybody's interested, it'd be kind of cool to do like kind of like a writer's workshop because I'm clueless as to how to make these stories happen. But I've got a bunch of fun lore already thought up, on what these characters are doing and why and what they're capable
A lot
of.
of happy little accidents.
Yeah, I mean, and it's really fun to come up with because I don't have to go call it. With my sci-fi story, I'm trying to make all the mechanics work and make sense, and I'm talking with a physicist and then a college professor and stuff, and they take forever to get back to me, and I forget a lot of what I started. Okay, CHILLKID, I posted the synopsis. Where's that at? Sorry.
How's it going, Maji?
Yeah, it's going. It sounds like I dropped in at the right moment. That sounds awesome, CHILLKID.
Well, thank you. I'm helpless as figuring out how to get these stories started, but I thought it'd be a lot of fun. But yeah, everybody has their mystical things that like they have certain powers or certain things that do certain things. Like the kid gets tricked into being the lamplighter by this demon, but he's given like a gold pouch that never empties. But he's only allowed to leave the dungeon and go buy the supplies he needs for the dungeon like once a year or something like that.